All right, thanks, Dave. His full first alert forecast is coming up, but we begin today near Obert, where last night severe storms dropped loads of rain and hail, shutting down a state highway. Jake Higgins has the details.
Traffic came to a halt for about an hour on Route 12 outside of Obert, right near the Cedar and Dixon County border. Water ran north over the road along with mud and tree debris. Meanwhile, hail also fell for 45 minutes to an hour, ranging in size from a quarter to a golf ball. Truck drivers helped the road crews clear the road until a plow came. Once the plow arrived, traffic was able to resume 5 minutes later. Parts of the road in both Cedar and Dixon County still have hail on them, and drivers should drive with caution into the night in areas where the severe weather has hit. From the Bank of Hartington newsroom, Jake Higgins, News Channel, Nebraska.
Meanwhile, residents east of Norfolk were surprised by a sudden funnel cloud that never touched down. The thin funnel appeared about 8 p.m. yesterday east of Norfolk. The funnel never fully formed on the ground and had dissipated after about 10 minutes. A tornado warning was never issued. Norfolk did see heavy rain later last night, though, and pea-sized hail, necessitating a severe thunderstorm warning. The storms were part of a larger system that dropped hail, heavy rain, and isolated tornadoes throughout the night. Hailstones larger than baseballs fell west of Atkinson. Heavy rains caused flooding and washed out roads in Holt and Boyd counties. Meanwhile, further east areas southwest of Wayne saw golf ball to half-dollar-sized hail fall last night. In southeast Nebraska, a tornado had a man literally clinging to life. Jay Hanna has his amazing story of survival.
A man and his dog did everything they could to survive a tornado that destroyed their rural Nehawka home, including hanging onto a tree. Robin Stoll, who's 76 years old of Nehawka, said that he and his dog, Joe, waited for the right moment to leave their shed and attempted to run to their house.
It was hailing too hard to go anyplace, so we stayed there, and then we looked out the door, and there was a tornado across the road, and quit hailing a little bit, so we headed for the basement. We didn't make it. It picked me up and put me against the tree over there, and the dog got under the deck, and I hung on the tree, and that's it.
Stoll survived the incident with minor injuries and bruising. Cass County Emergency Management Director Sandy Wires thought it was a valiant survival effort.
I can't say enough about it. I mean, he did what he had to do to survive. I mean, there was no way he was going to get to the house, and he knew it. So we're just thankful that he's alive and well and walking around talking to everybody.
Nehawka resident Mike Coley witnessed the tornado firsthand.
Well, we were sitting out here playing a game with the kids, and we saw the funnel cloud form just north of town there, and watched the tail come down, watched the tornado form, and watched it run out of town over there.
The storm reportedly produced golf ball-sized hail and flooded several country roads. As for Stoll, he was just glad to be alive. While holding on for his life, he had one simple plan.
Hang on the tree tighter.
Don't let go.
Yeah, don't let go.
Stoll's dog also survived the storm. Reporting in Nehawka, I'm Jay Hanna, News Channel, Nebraska.
In other news today, authorities say an 11-year-old boy has died after being struck by a sport utility vehicle in Fremont. The accident happened about 3:30 yesterday afternoon. Fremont police say a 16-year-old was heading east on Military Avenue when the SUV he was driving struck the boy. Police say there was no crosswalk where the accident occurred. Police say the boy was taken to a Fremont hospital, then flown to Omaha, where he died. The 11-year-old has been identified as Andrew Perez Martinez of Fremont. The teenage driver's name has not been released. Fremont police and the State Patrol are investigating the accident. A grand jury will investigate the circumstances surrounding a 22-year-old Norfolk man's death earlier this year in Antelope County. District Judge Mark Johnson has called for a grand jury investigation into the death of Angel Sanchez, who authorities say died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound on January 9th, about 4 miles west of Clearwater. According to Antelope County Attorney Joe Abler, Sanchez was stopped by a state patrol trooper on Highway 275 when he exited the car through the passenger door, made brief contact with the officer, and used a weapon to fatally shoot himself. Sanchez was pronounced dead at the scene. He had posted a 9-minute video to social media before the incident, apologizing to friends and family. Sanchez's vehicle is alleged to have been involved in a hit-and-run accident with a Neely snowplow earlier on the 9th after it was stopped and pulled over by the trooper. A grand jury is called to investigate by order of state statute when a person dies while being apprehended or in the custody of a law enforcement officer. Well, polls are open statewide in the Nebraska primary, and while most voters are vetting candidates, Dakota County voters are deciding on their school district's future. Voters are casting their ballots on a multi-million-dollar school bond in South Sioux City. That bond features two propositions totaling $38 million. Proposition A costs about $28 million. Those dollars would go toward improving multiple school facilities and building a new 5th and 6th grade building. Proposition B costs about $10.5 million. Now, Proposition B can't pass without a simple majority approving Proposition A. If approved, that money would be spent on an early childhood facility. And if you haven't headed out yet, Rachel Urbanski has some things to remember on this election day.
Start with our election training. Nebraska's primary election tomorrow. Madison County Clerk and Election Commissioner Nancy Scheer has had a hectic past several days preparing for the polls to open. If you are voting in Norfolk, Scheer says there has been a change in a polling location.
Well, we had one polling place change in the city of Norfolk. The Norfolk City Auditorium sold, so we have relocated the 3 precincts that voted at the Norfolk City Auditorium to Community Bible Church in the gymnasium. So Norfolk 4-1, Norfolk 4-2, and Norfolk precinct voters will go over to the Community Bible Church.
Though the presidential race has been an interesting one, Scheer doesn't expect a big turnout. Scheer is predicting about 28% of a voter turnout. That's the same number as in the 2012 presidential election.
Many of the local races are not on our primary election ballot. Many of the candidates were automatically nominated and will go on the ballot in the fall. Also, the presidential candidates on the Republican ticket have basically conceded, and I think that will probably have a little bit of effect on voters who possibly wanted to participate in the presidential race.
Scheer has also been holding poll worker training classes. She held 2 more on Monday afternoon, and it credits a smooth election day to the volunteers.
Without a doubt, if we did not have all these volunteers, it would be very difficult to conduct an election. We have many dedicated election workers who do return every year when they're asked.
Polling information can be found at the Madison County website, and Scheer encourages voters to be familiar with the polling locations. Reporting for News Channel Nebraska in Norfolk, Rachel Urbanski.
And we're going to be your home for election coverage tonight. All the results you need, pillar to post, South Sioux City to Valentine. You'll have it right here on NCN 35.1. That crawl you see at the bottom of the screen, that's going to become all election results. You'll be able to watch those live. We'll have those beginning at 9 p.m. I'll be here. Rachel Urbanski will be here. The whole NCN crew will be here, providing you the latest up-to-date coverage of all the elections as they come in across the entire NCN coverage area. But first, we got to get you your forecast. That's next. Dave Amick has that for you. You're watching News Channel Nebraska Midday.